all try to sit down and give our full attention to group number 4.
Oh, thank you very much for giving us the time. And first of all, let me say Happy New Year on behalf of my team here. And today we are going to share with you alcohol culture differences. And my team, Michael, will share with you for the drinking cultural differences between China and the Western. And my friend Andres, who is from Mexico, is going to share with you a successful story entered in China, and then a little bit more numbers of how they successed in about 10 or 15 years. And here is my friend Moa from Sweden, and she's going to bring us a failed story who tried to enter China but withdrawed after a couple fails. All right, so let me give the mic to Michael.
Hello, everyone. Actually, when Andrew raised this topic to our team, I feel very happy because I love alcohol since around 40 years ago. 40. When I was still in my mom's body, she told me an old story. She started to love alcohol immediately. When I was born, she gave up. It's very interesting. There should be something very interesting to show everybody. Around 4100 BC, people found in Iran, that's a world record of winemaking. Well, how about in China? We have this similar history, but that's 9,000 years ago, which means around 2,000 years earlier than Europe. Today, we have thousands of brands and different types of alcohol drinkings everywhere. The industry became very big, huge, but people never ask why people drink. Because everyone, whether you like drink or doesn't like it, you have different emotion. When you are in that particular mood, you would like to drink. Whether the solution is good or not, there is always something in common. Drinks make you happy or kill you. So let's talk about what's different in China. There's two images, very different. One is a true image, several very young government guy, new educated, new graduated, and new joining the government department. They've been forced to drink with their boss, with the other higher ranking officers. Finally, they become like this. And the other is some pretty young German girls in some German beer festival. They show me very relaxed, true laughing. In China, normally people drink when we are doing teamwork. We seldom drink single. But in Western country, some solo play about drink is very common. To be honest, we are talking about something very detailed, something very minor, never been told you before about drinking culture in China. For instance, years ago, only aged people are encouraged to drink because they don't have many years left. And the young generations need to be working, not drinking. But recently, maybe 10 years ago, since 10 years ago, the young generation start to drink. And something very detailed. On the left side, this is a very traditional Chinese wine cup made by China. The opposite way is a glass one. You can tell something very deep inside the difference between Western and Chinese cups. Well, finally, I want to share with you very interesting icon like this. This is some beam. When we drink, we eat something. Always. But in Western country, people normally drinks without anything. So, let's come back to our business. How to make a successful business in China. That's our Andrew's business.
Thank you. I want to start with a question. Who of you is familiar with the name Pernod Ricard? That's a company. One? Just one. But who of you knows Absolut or Chivas Regal? Okay, more. The successful case that we choose for the presentation is about the company Pernod Ricard, which is a French company that has 36 different brands around the world, and that includes Chivas Regal, Absolut, Martell, Valentine's, Malibu, Jacob's Creek, among others. Their success, well, first I'm going to give you some general information about their success. They have the 48% of the China's import spirits market, which is a lot. They were the first company with Martell, which crossed the 1 million of cases sold in China in the year 2011. They have the 30% of the cognac market here, and they are present in more than 400 cities in China. They have more than 500 sales representatives and more than 1,700 promoters. Only their Asian sales are about 2.71 billion euros. But the important thing here is to know how did they get it. Everything started when they made a research in the year 2000, and the result of that research was that they discovered that there was an increasing international young-minded middle-class consumers in China that preferred another drinking alcohols rather than baijiu, the traditional Chinese drink. They gambled with Chivas Regal because they thought that its drink's round and creamy taste will fit into the Chinese market. So they opened a whiskey bar in Beijing in the year 2002, and they tried to experiment with people, with consumers, different mix of the Chivas Regal alcohol. They, as their CEO said, they probably tried hundreds. They created their own research and development department in China. They found it that the best way to introduce the Chivas Regal was with the Chivas Regal green tea, which is a sweet jasmine flavored drink. And they said that they choose that one because it bows the Chinese tradition, but at the same time, it also sounds modern and it has health connotations. So they understood and they adapted to the market instead, or rather than forcing them to learn to teach, to tell them how to drink the Scotch whiskey. They said that they had a meeting where they decided if they should invest money in educating people in China, or if they prefer to sell a lot, even if they don't, if they will like take or eliminate the class of drinking whiskey Scotch. But not everything was about the research. They also invested millions and millions of US dollars in advertising. They organized theme parties, and they had also tasting sessions. As they said, with the best DJ and the best party, they made of Chivas Regal the icon of trendy life. And we can see the results with numbers very clear. Before opening the bar, they were importing 2.9 million US dollars in China. 8 years later, they are importing more than 85 million of US. They are selling 20 times more. Then the expansion came. They expanded the whiskey portfolio with Royal Salute and Valentine's, and their next big punch was Martell. With Martell, they basically used the same strategy. They had theme parties across the country, and they used the Martell Angels, which are famous persons here in China that they were promoting the brand. Nowadays, currently, the cognac market is more interesting for the company, and we can see that the cases sold in 2 years ago were bigger for cognac than whiskey, but more important, the market growth. And we will see now the other side of the coin.
So I will tell you a little bit about a company that failed while trying to enter the Chinese market. And this is Seagram's, who is a distillery who was a distillery that was headquartered in Montreal, in Canada. It was, at the time, the largest distiller of alcoholic beverages in the world. And it owned these brands, as you see here, Chivas Regal, Martell, and Captain Morgan. But in 2000, because of various things I will not go through now, they had to disintegrate and sell off all their assets to different companies. And as you can see, Pernod Ricard bought those brands. But I will focus on their failure in China. What they did was Seagram tried to enter the Chinese markets and focused a lot on bringing in grape wines into the Chinese market. But the problem was that they bumped into a lot of cultural differences. There was not a proper distribution system for these sorts of wines. There was no wine cellars or refrigerated storage for these types of wines during this time in the 1980s. And another problem was that they were entering the market quite early and they were trying to make quick returns. But these kinds of wines were not there were no culture around them in China. These sort of European wines had no culture around them in China. And people were not familiar with the ways of drinking the red grape wines and not even how to open up the bottle for them. And another problem is also the high import duties that made these wines cost a lot of money. And if you don't understand the importance or you don't appreciate the culture of these drinks that were not very common, you're not going to pay a high price for the bottle either. But, sorry.
Okay, so thank you very much for sharing the success stories and failed stories. And here today we are in the class for cultural differences and why we want to understand the differences, because we want to find the common things between us. We want to find the things we appreciate the same way. So in Michael's session, you can see that even in a Western or in Chinese, we all drink. We both drink. We just drink in a different way. So Chivas Regal find a way to have the Chinese people accept their drinks, and which in the other way, Seagram just failed to do so. And then so we are saying that in the summary is when you find the difference, you can find the common things in between. And then that's the first thing, the first step you have to do when you're entering a new market, when you're entering a new area. And the second thing you do is to fit in, to position yourself in a local, which you can say that localizations as well. So which Chivas Regal in the case did very good job. And the third thing, you can use the Chivas Regal example as well, which when they are fit in, they already fit in, then they can take the lead. They can coach you, they take you, they let you know what's the trendy, what is the culture, which in Seagram the case, you don't have the chance at all. So we're saying that when you're entering a new market, you have to find the differences. And more importantly, you have to find the common things among you guys. And then you have to fit in, or you have to position yourself in the local culture. And then after all that, you can take the lead. And of course, this circle goes round and round, which in the Chivas Regal case, Andrew shared with us is a very good example. So we will spare the last minute for taking questions. And any other questions? We would love to answer your questions. Thank you.
I know that, Andre, you're gonna bring tequila to China.
Yes.
So first, we have a sample. My question is, how after you study this, how are you going to do to enter with tequila in China?
Well, definitely, I have to see first of all the way how Chinese drink tequila. I have seen that they don't drink tequila, so the only way how they drink it, well, we have one. No, it's about cocktails. They only drink tequila through cocktails. So I think I have to find a way to enter through cocktails. and that's through bars and clubs and hotels maybe, not through the traditional channels like supermarkets or liquor stores. No, I think the other one. Okay, another one? Another question?
Any other questions? I mean, any question will help Andrew.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, group number 5, let's get set up.